Good morning, baseball fans, and welcome back to Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. Do not be fooled by the fancy name. It's just me and some baseball cards. But again, today we have a special guest to talk about one particular player's baseball cards, and that's Al Rosen. Al Rosen was a third baseman for the Cleveland Indians. He played his entire career with Cleveland. And let's pull up his baseball reference here. The front page shows that he was born in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He moved to Miami as a child with his mother and his grandmother after his father left them. He graduated from high school in Miami and then went on to play for the University of Florida. And he then, before he began his minor league career, signed up for the Navy in 1942. He spent 4 years in the armed services, including actually being the person who piloted the boat going into the Battle of Okinawa. So he received a significant amount of accolades for that. He's basically a war hero. He left the Navy in 1946 as a lieutenant and went into the minor leagues. He ripped through the minor leagues for the Indians. He actually ended up playing in Kansas City for the Yankees farm club, but Cleveland got him back. And in 1947, he came up for a little bit. 48, he came up for 5 at bats, but then Cleveland added him to the roster for the World Series, where he got 1 at bat. So Al Rosen actually appeared in the World Series as a 24-year-old without having played less than 20 games in the major leagues. 49, he was in the minors again, ripping it up. And so what happened is the Indians traded their third baseman, Ken Keltner, and Rosen became the starting third baseman in 1950 when he had an outstanding year. As a rookie, led the league in home runs. That was a record for rookies, 37 home runs, until Mark McGwire broke the record in 1987. He had looks like about 5 or 6 phenomenal years, but 1953 is really the year to remember Al Rosen for. He won the American League MVP unanimously. The first player to win it unanimously, and you can see that he led the league in runs, home runs, RBIs, and he batted .336. He lost the batting crown on the last day of the season. Otherwise, he would have won the Triple Crown. He led the league in OPS, OPS plus, total bases. It was a 10-WAR season and an absolute killer MVP season for Al Rosen. 1954 was the year the Indians won 100 and so odd games, and then unfortunately lost in the World Series. But what was plaguing Rosen at this point was a back problem, back injuries. So he was one of the best players in baseball for 6 consecutive years, and then his back gave out. He retired at the age of 32 after the 1956 season and went into business. In 1978, he left his business life to become the general manager of the New York Yankees, where he joined up with his former teammate Bob Lemon to pilot the Yankees to the 1978 World Series championship. And then in 1979, when Lemon was fired, Rosen quit midway through the season. He worked for the Astros after that, and then the Giants. In 1989, he won Executive of the Year, the only executive of the year to have also been a most valuable player as a player. So Al Rosen, honestly, one of the more accomplished human beings on this planet, war hero, baseball star, business executive, baseball executive, and was outstanding at all of those things. Ultimately, in 1979, I pulled up this video from YouTube. It's a light beer commercial. There was Miller Lite had these commercials back in the 70s and 80s. It was more taste, less filling. And so there were 2 executives. One of them was Rosen, who did this commercial. And they joked about trading players, and then ultimately they ripped out their baseball cards. And you could see right there, the one card that you can see the best leaning up against the glass of beer is the 1953 Al Rosen. So this is a baseball card show, so it's time to move on to the baseball cards. This is the flagship run for Rosen. There's the 50 Bowman, which is his rookie card, 51 and 52 Bowman. The 52 Topps is that beautiful red card on the far right. The 53 Bowman is that fantastic shot, as they all are in that set, of him kneeling in the on-deck circle in Yankee Stadium. There's the 53 we just saw in the commercial screenshot. There's the 54 tops, 55 and 56. So those are all of Rosen's flagship cards. I do have a good collection of his oddballs. Upper left is the 51 tops game card. 52, I'm sorry, in the center there is the 54 Red Heart, another fantastic card with bright red colors. Love that card. We'll see it again. And then there's the double header from 1955, which I showed a few days ago in my SGC reveal. I just got that back. So below that, the bottom right is a double panel of the 1951 Burke Ross set, where Al Rosen is card number 1 and card number 2 is Phil Rizzuto. In the middle is a 1956 Topps pin. On the far left, bottom left, is the 1955 Golden Stamps. And then what looks like his 54 Topps is actually not his 54 Topps. It's the Sports Illustrated version. In 54, Sports Illustrated put out a couple of editions where they had all the 1954 Topps cards. And so Rosen has a card in there, and there's even backs on it. But this is made out of paper from a magazine. So pretty cool, the Sports Illustrated Rosen. So what I'd like to do now is bring on my guest. Skaght is the person behind Reindeer Studios, which has become one of my favorite YouTube channels. And I think really the reason for that is because every time you watch a video on Skaught's channel, you get two emotions. One is you can feel the kindness, and the other is you can feel the humor. So kindness and humor are two things that I love. And in that respect, you get very little of that in this world. So watching Skaught's channel is a pleasure. And I would recommend anybody who is not subscribed to Reindeer Studios to go ahead and do it, because you will enjoy every single video. So let me bring him on right now. My best friend and your best friend, Skaght. Nice to see you, Skaght. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Dan. Very nice introduction.
How are you this morning?
I'm fantastic.
Okay, so wanted to ask you, I know that anybody knows your channel knows that you are almost exclusively a Cleveland collector.
That's correct.
Which would, of course, explain Al Rosen.
Mm-hmm.
Any other particular reasons why you have such, and we'll see it shortly, such an amazing Al Rosen collection?
So like you said, I'm a Cleveland collector. So I guess the kind of pinnacle of that team, I would say, would be the late 40s, early 50s, when they were trying to catch the Yankees all the time. And there's such great people on those teams. You got Page and Feller and Doby. Team was run by Bill Veeck, and Greenberg was GM, and Al Rosen was a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
So he's got an interesting career, and I feel that between the war hero, the fact that he is a pioneer, he's a Jewish American player who was basically the second major Jewish American star after Hank Greenberg. And then he became an executive, and he had a short career. I think of him almost like Don Mattingly, a player who was at the top of his game for about 5 or 6 seasons, and then a back injury did
That's
him
a
in.
good
So
comparison.
I
Yeah.
feel like Al Rosen should be in the Hall of Fame. What do you think about that?
I would love to see it, honestly, but I just don't think the length of career is there.
Yeah. So anyway, let's bring up what I think is extraordinary. You'll see the money shot here. There it is. So tell me, we're going to go through these individually, but just generally speaking, tell me about what we have here, and what's your focus when you're collecting. I know your tagline in your videos is to I hope I don't get this wrong. Um, it's collect for yourself, make the collection about yourself, and be honest to yourself is
Right.
essentially
Make
what
it
you're doing,
unique to
right?
you.
Unique to you, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So tell
So
me about this.
All right, this is all my Al Rosen stuff that I've amassed. Uh, I have all the base run like you do, and
Hmm.
what I'm trying to do now is do the autographed base run because
Yeah,
he was a prolific signer, and I do love autographs. So I'm like 3 cards away from that, and that's been a very fun project. And he's also not expensive to collect. Most of his cards
yeah.
are
Hmm.
considered common cards, so that absolutely helps.
Yeah,
Um,
getting
and
the
then
right now. We both have the red heart. I have
right,
it in a 5. You have it in a 6. That is a hard set to collect.
yeah,
The stars in and the Hall of Famers, and I think I got that card for less than $100, which was beautiful.
absolutely
Plus, the card itself is beautiful. So, just just for background, you are a professional artist,
correct.
and the reason that I asked you to come on the Rosen Show is not only that do I associate you and Nina both with Cleveland, but also recently, I think it's 2 videos ago, you did the Al Rosen painting here with his autograph on the bottom right from an index card. So what? Tell me about. I mean, I'm not an artist. I appreciate art, but I couldn't draw I can draw stick figures and that's about it. So tell me about what's the process behind something like this, which is to me is just amazing.
Um, well, this one is painted on wood, and it's actually like a almost a 3D piece. I call it a parallax painting. I'll bring it
Hmm.
up here.
Yep.
So it's got different levels to it,
Yeah. Yep.
and I laser cut the wood out, so there's like some tech involved,
Yeah.
and then I laser cut out a spot because I have a lot of Al Rosen autographed index cards, so I was able to incorporate that into the beast too.
Where'd you get the image? Is this from a photo that you have?
Yeah, there were photos that I just searched for photos online, and
Okay.
because he's not Mickey Mantle, there's not like a ton of photos like
Yep.
you would have with a bigger name star. But
Yeah, it took me a while to find that Miller Lite video that I knew existed. I had to go around the web a bit to find it. So, how long does it take for you to do a piece like this?
um, I worked on this one for about a week.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and
And
it's not a huge piece, but
you did 2, right?
I did 2 at the same time
Yeah. Okay.
because
Somebody
I
got
did it
lucky.
for myself, which isn't something that I have had time to do lately. So I made one to sell as well.
Awesome. All right. So let's start with the base run. This is the 50 Bowman. There's 3 here. I see
Hmm.
one obviously on the left is the autographed version. I should mention that I'm not really an autograph collector,
Okay,
despite my last show last weekend being about autographs. So I don't actually have any Al Rosen autographs, but it seems to me that he did sign a lot, and he lived
he
to be
did.
91, so um, he was around for a while too. How'd you get the one on the left?
That one was actually gifted to me by Sean Tieford,
Nice.
who's a big Jewish collector as well.
And then the 2 on the right are I you wouldn't know they're different cards from the front.
Right,
If you go to the back, one is the copyright, and one is the non-copyright.
right. So the non-copyright was also a gift from Chris from Missouri. We were at the Strongsville show,
Hmm.
and I saw it sitting there on a table, and I had it. I have a few copies of it, so I didn't really look at it. But he bought it for me behind my back, and I didn't know that it was the non-copyright version. And he asked me if I had it, and I'm like, yeah, I have it. But then I flipped it over, and my eyes popped out of my head, like it's the non-copyright version. So
So
that was
there's
kind
some
of neat.
writing on the back of the top loader there. What's on there?
Right. On the penny sleeve, I generally write the year and then who gave me a card if it was given to me.
Nice, nice. I like that. It's recognizing the people that have been kind to you, and
Right.
and
And it's
I
nice to
appreciate.
be able to remember, that
Yeah.
that.
So we got the 51 here, which honestly, I'm not a big fan of that set, but I have the card in it for.
I
And then the
like it better
50.
than you then.
Well, you have obviously a much better sense of like sight and perspective and color and all those things. So I don't know. I don't like the game cards from the 30s and 20s either. So I guess that's just
Okay.
my quirk. On the right is I love this card. It's the 52 Bowman, and you got a signed version of that. How'd you come across this one?
That was just at a card show. I bought it raw, and I think the guy was asking $15 for it, and the card, even without the autograph, was well worth that. It's
Yeah,
really sharp, really nice.
this is one of the great things about collecting players that we know they're great. They have
Hmm.
significance for reasons that aren't necessarily, baseball. Al Rosen's a pioneer in my mind, but he's so cheap because I guess it's a thing where people don't know, and we're taking advantage of other people's ignorance.
But it was
Um,
a Cleveland show, so he should have
oh yeah,
known.
well that's right, that's right. You have the Strongville show, and then of course you have the national coming up, uh,
Correct.
which I should mention. You have a video from a few months ago
Hmm.
that I literally watched and took notes. And after I was finished watching it, I made my reservation for um, for the hotel that you recommended. So
Wow.
I would encourage anyone who wants to go to the Cleveland show to go over to Reindeer Studios and find that video from what, maybe July you did it.
It was probably August, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. I mean, it was right after the Chicago show, right?
Hmm.
And so that to me was a great resource. Thank you for that. So
Thank you,
here
Dan.
we have Alex's favorite cards of his set.
Right.
This is the 53 Bowman color. There he is in the on deck circle, about to hit a line shot in the gap against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. What a wonderful shot. Um,
Absolutely.
I have this card. Where's mine? Here it is. I have a twinsy of yours. This is also a PSA 5.
Nice.
So this is right in the front. I took my entire Rosen collection out. You can't see it down below, is where the whole section is empty now because all the Rosen cards are out. But I keep this one in the front because it's such an amazing shot. And then the one on the right, is that another show, Strongville show pickup?
I believe that was an eBay pickup recently.
Where?
eBay.
Oh, eBay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other way. One of the other ways to get cards. So that's
Yeah.
the other thing about Rosen, and we talked about this before, is that because his cards are so reasonably priced, you can afford to go to a place like eBay or auction houses,
Hmm.
or ComC or wherever to pick them up. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
that one on the right is autographed. It's
Yeah.
a little hard to see.
Yeah.
But I like those pen autographs because it's more authentic to the era.
Yeah. It feels like you have somebody has you've collected a lot of photographs from different eras, probably of Rosen's signing.
Right.
Um, and he was a prolific signer, so that's a good thing. So here we are. I put these two cards on the same page, even though they're different
It's a
different
good pairing.
manufacturers,
Yeah.
different years, because of the red. Now, the 52 tops, which I have here somewhere, you have a nice 4.5. I have a 3.5. This was probably the most expensive, I think, of the Rosen cards that I bought. What do you think about that?
Being the most expensive.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I bought mine raw and I paid uh like 35 for it.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Well, then I got ripped off. So I think I paid close to 100 for this, and it's one less. Of course, I didn't. I bought it in the slab.
Huh.
And then the 54 Red Heart. Yeah, you got a gorgeous copy there.
Yeah,
Did you buy that
I did
raw,
pay up
or
for that one.
you had to pay up for that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
This was this I got on eBay, and I think, like I said, I think I paid less than $100 for it, and it is a 5 though. Um, I think I got it on eBay. I should do what you do, which is keep a record of where I got the cards. I might have gotten this out of an auction house, but I know I got it well below what I expected to pay, and I was very happy about that.
Mm.
There we go. What is
The
that 50? What do you think about that 53 card? I had a conversation with a person about this recently.
it's one of my favorites. I really like it. I think the portrait is great. Um, the 53 design is great. Like I have trouble deciding which one I like better, the Bowman or the Tops.
Yeah, this is he's got that side eye going.
Hmm.
Somebody said he's about to go beat the crap out of somebody, and it's funny because when Jackie Robinson came into the major leagues, the big the thing that was said to him by management is you can't fight back. If you
Right.
fight back, they're gonna win. But both Greenberg and Rosen, when accosted with anti-Semitism, did in fact fight back. Both of
Yeah.
them, well, they're both monsters physically,
Hmm.
and Rosen was a I think in his youth he was an amateur boxer, and so there's multiple stories of him and Greenberg either beating the living crap out of somebody or um, threatening to do so and having that person back down. So there's they sort of took the the approach that I would have taken, and ultimately I think we're better for it.
Right.
But that picture to me looks like somebody just said something and Al Rosen's about to go give them a beat down.
I like that card even better now.
and then the one on the right, which is of course the 54.
Hmm.
You got another autograph. That's another pen autograph.
Right.
Did you send that one in, or did you get it slabbed?
This was a gift from Dylan at Double D Vintage.
Nice. Got a lot of friends.
I do. I got a lot of best friends.
A lot of best friends, a lot of generous friends, and
Absolutely.
yeah, it tells you something about about yourself. There's the 55 and the 50. Is the 56 autograph? Yeah, the 56 is autographed.
They both are.
Yeah, 56 is the one that I do not, for some reason, have a slab.
Hmm.
It's in my. It's still. I had to pull this out of the binder and put it into a top loader. So I should get a slab. I know I was bidding on one of these a while ago. It was an 8, and it went over 100. And I said, "Nah, that's enough. I don't need an 8." Um, 61 MVP.
Right.
That looks like more recent autograph because it's like a Sharpie or something.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that one?
That was from Rick from Vintage Oddball Cards.
All right, and then the 75 MVP cards there.
Yeah. That one was from eBay.
All right, so I I don't know what I mean. I think I know what the one on the left is, so I'm going to ask you to explain that one a little bit. The one on the right, I have no idea what that is.
Okay. The one on the left is a sticker that was in the Fleer packs. I think that was 1981 or 82. I think it was 81. And then the one on the right is a set from 1992, I believe. And it was called Action Pack. So it was like um, kind of embossed.
Uh huh.
So the player is kind of like sticking out a little bit. They're really neat cards and they
Yeah,
sign well.
I've never seen that photo of Rosen before, and I love that photo because it's like you can see the guys in the in the crowd behind him, and it's like he's just about to swing.
Yeah, it's a great photo.
Oh, this okay. So the one on the left, I should explain that I am the youngest of 7 children. I have a brother who was born in 1948. And so when I looked at family photos from the early 50s, like their baby photos, um, and when they were kids, all of the photos look exactly like this. There's like
Hmm.
this sort of decal edge around it, and then on the left is a flat edge because they were in like they were given to us in little booklets. So I immediately saw this as totally authentic as like an early 50s photo.
Right. So yeah, I that was an eBay find, and it was not authenticated at the time, but I
Right.
thought it would look cool on a slab, and it's a little crooked in the slab. But it's a really neat piece, and I haven't been able to identify the stadium or anything, but I like.
Yeah. You might want to take that to the internet uh, and ask around, because there's a lot of people who, honestly, I have had this situation where I say to somebody, "I'm not sure where this park is," and like five
Right.
minutes later, somebody's like, "This is such and such a place."
I have
Um,
tried a little bit, but
yeah.
haven't
Okay.
come up with anything yet.
And then the one on the right, um, I don't know where is that in a stadium? It's just very dark in the background.
Uh, It is very dark. That is a postcard. I assume it's a stadium.
And both of these are also autographed, which is wonderful.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm assuming the one on the right is spring training because it looks very spring training ish.
Right, and that was from 1949. It's like his first um, issued card, even though it's a picture.
Right, it's the 49 picture pack, right?
Right,
So I remember in one of your videos that you got the whole pack.
right.
Um, I actually do need to get this because that's a great photo. And the signature on there is a facsimile, right? Or is that an
Correct.
actual autograph?
That's a facsimile.
Okay. And then lumber, game used
Right.
lumber.
These came out last year,
Yeah,
and a lot of the Al Rosen collectors were excited because there's new Al Rosen stuff.
yeah,
So there were
yeah.
a lot of like autographed ones. I think he had some with like Eddie Matthews as well. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of a neat new piece.
All right, so this I don't know what this is at all. So you're gonna have to explain
Okay,
this.
so these are from the Stratomatic baseball game, which I've never played, and I would like to try it. But you get these little stat cards, and I believe you roll dice, and it determines like what your player can do. And they had actual stat cards for each major league player, and I think they have it up until today. Um, and
This
some people get these autographed.
Stratomatic is still around today. I didn't
I
know that.
believe it is. Yeah.
I never played it. I think I played a different kind of version of it where you just did it around like a wheel. You push the wheel, and there
Hmm.
was like little like spaces for how much the player would get a double or a triple or home run. I don't even remember what the game was called, but this looks quite a bit more complicated. Maybe my 8-year-old mind wouldn't have been able to handle it. But
I would love to try to play
oh,
it.
sorry, we'll go
Yeah.
back to this. I it's like, yeah, it sounds cool. And then you're autographed. It looked like black ink, but
Hmm.
not a pen. It looks sort of like maybe in the '80s they had those like black ink, like
Maybe a felt tip.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then so this, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I believe that is a quarter on the right.
That is a quarter. That is 1951, I think. I gotta look it up real quick. Um, Maybe it was 1950. Um, that is a baseball stars strip card.
Okay, I don't know anything about it.
I don't know much about it either. I just thought it was neat because it was smaller than a quarter.
Well, the one thing I do have a couple of things you don't have, which is the Sports Illustrated thing. It's funny because Mangini did a video on this, like I don't know, this week I think about
Right.
he said there's no who says there's no 54 mantle card because they in the Sports Illustrated they had a mantle card mock up,
Hmm.
but this is the Rosen card. It's the exact same thing. It's just on paper. And then there's this, which is the Golden Stamps, the Cleveland 1955 Cleveland Golden Stamps. I don't know if you have any of these
I
for
don't.
any of the players. It was like a booklet. You see a lot of these for Dodgers,
Hmm.
like Jackie Robinson has one of these, and Koufax, and it's 55, so it's like an alternative Koufax rookie. But the Indians also had a book, and so somebody bought the Indians book for Dobie and Feller and whoever else, and actually gifted me this the Rosen, which I then went
Nice.
ahead and got graded. And then there's this guy, which I stabbed myself with the other day. Um, it's the stamp. I'm not the stamp.
The
The
pin.
pin. Trying to get this. There we go. It's the picture from the 55 and the 56 card, but it's in a pin. And I was going to put it on and wear it, but I think you wouldn't be able to see it well enough. And then this one, which is the Burke Ross, which I would recommend getting, not necessarily the full panel with Rizzuto, but the Rosen card is a nice card. He's got a nice little smile going. He's about to hit a line drive. So let's see what else we have. Here we go.
There's one card I didn't send you. It was the Red Man.
Red Man, yeah. And is that that's a tab on, right?
Tab on, yep.
What year is that?
This one's 54.
Okay. Is he in all the years?
I think he's in 53 and 52, yeah.
Because after looking at your massive collection, I've decided that there are some things that I still need to get, and that's one of them. The Red Man. I think I saw that in one of your videos at some point. I don't remember. But anyway, so we have the card, the ball here. Any idea when he signed this?
That would have been in the mid 90s.
Okay. He died in 2015, I believe. Did you have anything signed live by Rosen?
No, I never met him, unfortunately.
And then there's the Sport magazine.
Yeah, I believe that was right after they lost the World Series to the Giants.
He's also on the cover of, I think, Sports Illustrated, maybe?
Yeah, that's a great cover. I'd love to get that one.
Yeah, that's something that I should get. So that's the collection, Scott. I really do appreciate you coming on and showing us all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Because now I'm getting a feeling of insecurity. I thought I had a massive Rosen collection, but I don't.
There's still a few that I need. I need the Burke Ross and the doubleheader.
Yeah.
And the Dan D is another one, and the Num Num. Oh,
there's a Num Num. That's right. Yeah, I have the Num Num Feller and Dobie, but I do not have. So there's still, it's like any collection. There's always another card to get. So we'll do it. So there's one card I did want to bring up, which is not Rosen. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. It's this guy.
Nice.
And I'm not even going to tell you how I got this because it's embarrassing. Because I know how much work, how many hours and hours of work you put into doing all the artwork for all your friends, your best friends, and then going and doing the whole thing. I watched the video again last night, and
thank you.
I love the running around the bases with the the music playing. and then you went to his grave, and then it's raining out, and you put the card out. And I'm like, no, don't. Rain. So I someday I'll tell you how I got this, but it's almost like the complete opposite of how you got it.
Yeah.
And because you put all the work in, I didn't put any work into
it.
It just fell into my lap.
I did. It did. Mine kind of fell in my lap too. I found it way before I was done with the whole project, but I had to keep going with the project because I had so many requests.
Did you buy that at Strongville?
No, it was just at a local show 10 minutes away.
Really?
And,
okay.
It was ridiculously cheap. It was raw, so I was a little nervous about it, but everything turned out great.
Yeah, it's a little flaw here or there can save you a ton of money. So this guy it's a 2, but it's an old slab, so it's probably would be a 1 now because the corners are rounded. I think there's a little staining on the back, but it's a beautiful piece of art for me. So happy to be your twin in that one too. So anyway, Scott, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. Again, would really encourage anybody who hasn't already subscribed to your channel to subscribe to your channel because it's one of my favorites, and I wish you did more videos, but I know you do a lot of work in them.
I appreciate you having me on. I do put a lot of time into the video, so that's why I don't have as many as I would like to have. But
because you have all the graphics, and then you speed up, and then all that stuff, and I'm like, it's like I could do that in a million years. Anyway, so just for my viewers, next week I'm going to have another guest. The week after that, so it's going to be guests and guests and guests from now on. So happy to have Skaght here, and the Rosen collection, which I wanted to finish that last card so we could do a show on it. And then I saw Skaught's painting, and I said, "This is the perfect guest." So thank you for coming on. Really
I
appreciate
appreciate it.
that. All right, take care. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
you too.